Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. Today I'm ready to drop on you my 6th iteration of my Holy Smiter Paladin, and it's feeling really good. As always, I will cover every single facet of the build. Everything is timestamped in the description below if you need to bounce around. Let's not waste any time and jump right into this. Starting off with some gameplay. Now the skills we're using for our Holy Smiter are Lunge, Volatile Reversal, Sigils of Hope, Holy Aura, and of course Smite. Now what makes this build so different is you want the highest possible maximum mana, but play at the lowest mana possible. Now let me show you. You see the tooltip for Smite. Pretty good, 100,000 damage. And as my mana goes down, look at the damage numbers. As my mana goes down, the damage goes up. Okay, ready? Watch it when I cast Holy Aura. You ready? 300,000 damage. And it's even going to go higher than that when we are triggering other things in combat, okay? So the lower you are in mana, the higher your damage is going to be. That's what you need to remember, because when you're playing, you're going to be like, why is stuff not dying as fast? Oh, it's because I have 837 mana. Let's take this for a spin. Now, right now we are at corruption 211, and as you can see, pretty easy. And gear right now, we're pretty good. Feeling decently solid. If you see the advanced build planner in the description, that gear is ridiculous. We got a couple pretty nice items. Now, when you cast Lunge at a target, it is going to auto trigger Smite as well. And then Volatile Reversal, enemies are going to take more damage, and it's going to give you a boost to your cast speed, which is great, and it allows you to jump in and out of combat. And I'll showcase this in a second. So for example, if I lunge to this enemy, I could bounce back out and then lunge again. That is what's so cool about reversal, is it gives you a lot of advantages inside of combat. And as you can see, we are also pretty tanky because of course we use a shield and we are a paladin. So easy. Let's fight a Shade of Oribus at 211. Shade of Oribus, corruption 211. And we should tear him up. Can we kill him without moving? Oh no, we want to move out of the way of that. And remember, we have kill threshold with our lunge. I'm trying not to use a potion. And Shade of Oribus 211. Dead. So easy. Let me show you how to recreate this build. So now let's check out the skills for our Holy Smiter, and we're going to start with Holy Aura. Pay attention to the order in which I take the skills. Now for Holy Aura, you actually want survivability first. So your first 5 points you want in Shelter of the Storm, then come left 2 into Vital Boon and 1 into Purification. This is going to allow you to cleanse ailments. Then you want to come down 2 into Call to Arms, 5 into Phantasm, 4 into True Strike, and 3 into Extreme Zeal to give you a boost to your damage. And again, you're going to be able to give this to everybody that you play with. Moving over to Lunge. Perfect synergy with this build. You want to go up and to the right first. 1 into Warrior's Renewal, 2 into Ambuscade, 1 into Double Strike. This is going to give you 2 charges of Lunge. Then you want to come straight down, 2 into Onslaught, 3 into Cold the Weak, 4 into Holy Incursion. This is your kill threshold, and you have to be 10 meters away, and 4 into Holy Incursion, which is going to give you your guaranteed Smite chance. Again, benefit 10 meters away. Then you want to come to the left, Dawn's Charge, and 2 into Disarming Blow, which is going to give you your Frailty. Amazing skill, and you get 2 charges. Coming over to Sigils of Hope, this is what you're going to use to keep your mana down when you are in combat, and you need it in its insta-cast. You want to go left first. 5 into Empowering Sigils, 2 into Word of the Alcridi, 1 into Exgeniency. This is what makes it an insta-cast and costs more mana. Then to the right, 5 into Iron Sigils, 4 into Enduring Hope, 1 into Tetragram, then down, 1 into Faith, and 1 into Unwavering Faith. And if I had another point, I would put it right here. This is basically your fail-safe. If you take a hit that costs, that takes away 20% of your life, you will eat a sigil and it'll bring you back to, not bring you back to life, but it'll give you some health boost. Moving over to our damage dealer is Smite. And you actually want to go up and to the right first. You want 1 point into Blinding Flash, 2 into Petty, 1 into Order of Lagan, and 1 into Unbalanced Scale. This is going to make it cost more mana, but you're going to use Lightning Bolt charges, and this is going to convert it into a Lightning skill. You then want 3 into Pillars of Light. This is going to give you a 1 in 3 chance of double cast. 5 into Sacrifice. This is a 250% multiplicative damage boost. It's absolutely insane, but every time you cast Smite, it's going to take 15% of your life, which you would, I mean, literally you would die instantly. So you have to also put 5 points into Atonement, which is going to eliminate that 15% cost. Now, these last 4 points, if you can find a way to get great base crit chance, these 4 points you should actually put into Deep Impact. But if you don't have base crit chance, you need to just put it here, which sucks losing the cast speed, but at least you're going to crit more often. Last but not least, Volatile Reversal. And this is my base tree. I always take it the same way. You go up first, 3 into Time Sap, 1 into Warped Time, 3 into Catching Up. This is going to give you movement speed and global cast speed. You then want to come down, 1 into Terminal Void Rift, 3 into Dark Expanse, 3 into Harbinger of Dust. This is going to make it where enemies take 30% more damage. Now think about that for a second. You are going to be able to relocate yourself on the map. You're going to be able to regain your life if you take a big hit. The enemy is going to take more damage. You're going to run faster and have more cast speed. You then want 2 into Traveler's Fatigue, 1 into Time Lost, and the last one into Void Rift. Those are the skills. Moving over to the passives for our Holy Smiter. Now in the base class, you want 8 into Juggernaut, 5 into Armor Clad, 5 into Valiant Charge, and then 2 into Time and Faith. Now, Time and Faith, this one's a little interesting, okay? Again, you don't want too much mana regen or too much mana gained because you want to keep it low, but you want enough where you won't go negative. So for some people, that's 1. For some people, it's 3, maybe even 4. For me, the sweet spot is 2 points into Time and Faith. So this one you got to play with for a little bit. Moving over to Paladin, you want 8 into Conviction, 8 into Defiance, 1 into Honor, 10 into Heaven Fire, 8 into Sanctuary Guardian, 1 into Shield Wall, 10 into Holy Precision, and 12 into Duality. Now, the reason why a shield is so important for this build is this node is going to give you plus 30 base spell, and this node is going to give you plus 16 base spell. So just for holding a shield, you're going to get plus 46 base spell damage. Absolutely crazy. Also, we want Smite in its lightning form because Holy Precision is going to give you 100% crit strike multiplier, but only for lightning skills. And then here we want as much mana as possible, and this is going to give us mana, damage, and life. 3 absolutely amazing nodes. 4, I guess I should say. Moving over to Void Knight, you want 10 into Endurance, 10 into Devouring Blade, 100% damage boost if you've killed an enemy recently, and then 1 into Void Corruption gives you an extra 21 crit strike multiplier from this 1 point. Now the last 8, this one is a little hard, okay? This one's a little more difficult. I went Battle Hardened, which is going to give you a boost to your armor and a boost to your physical resistance if you take a hit recently, okay? And this is going to make a little more sense when we go over the gear portion. Also inside of Paladin, I had to put 2 points in Dedication. Again, this will make sense when we go over the gear portion. Now, starting off with our idols. Now, the main idol you want to find is you want 4 large idols that have smite damage, and this can roll as high as 54 in the prefix. In the suffix, there's 3 that are good, life being the best, then block effectiveness, and then resistances. So 4 of these idols. Now, for the other 4 idols, you want as much life as humanly possible. This is a near perfect roll. It can roll as high as 530. This is a 528. you want 4 of these. So idols are pretty simple. Now, when we're looking at gear, there is a singular unique that is required. This build does not work unless you have a devotion amulet. And I found 100 of these things. It's not overly hard to find, okay? That being said, doesn't work without it. You have to have it. This is what gives you cast speed and spell damage based upon missing mana. You must have it, okay? Required. That is why on our helmet, we have double mana rolls. It is why on our armor, we have double mana rolls. It is why on our weapon, we take the wand that has mana in the implicit, okay? As much mana as you can find. Now, couple things that have changed. We are using Cradle of the Erased Shield instead of Bastion of Honor. Now, Bastion of Honor actually does roll with mana, and you can still use this. It's just not as good as it used to be, because now it scales with strength, and we do not use strength for this build, okay? So you could still use Bastion of Honor. Just want to say that twice. You could still use Bastion of Honor, but I am using Cradle of the Erased, because what this shield does is it gives you 2 block effectiveness per uncapped resistance, and we are fully spec'd into resistances, which is putting us at 3,000 block effectiveness. And when you trigger Holy Aura, it goes to 3,200 block effectiveness, which is absolutely crazy. And we're at an 84% block chance. Shield, very, very strong. Now, the other item we are using that is new to this Holy Smiter is the Sphere Relic. And this one I crafted today. It is unbelievably strong. Some would say it's a godly item. It probably really is. Now, Stormcarved Testament, if you don't have a good legendary sphere, is still best in slot. If you got a Stormcarved Testament, you could put that in. You'll be totally fine. That being said, this one I got a tier 6 mana, tier 5 necrotic resistance, and tier 5 smite to move over. And it has mana, and it does lightning damage, and gives 2 resistances. And what's really interesting about this item is the affix that says 3 water orbs per cast if your attunement is equal to your intelligence. Now, I said I would explain these 2 points in dedication. I needed 2 attunement to match my attunement to my intelligence up here, both at 11 points. What that means is when I am fighting a boss, since my attunement and intelligence are aligned, I'm going to get 30% lightning damage every time it casts its water orb. And when we tested this at the training dummy, it gave us an additional 400% lightning damage. Absolutely massive. Absolutely massive. The other item that we have changed is we used to use Acclaim Scepter, which is still awesome for this build, but we have switched in the Crystal Wand, okay? So I put these 3 items down here because you could still use Bastion of Honor, you can still use Stormcarved Testament, and you could still use Acclaim Scepter. Just I like these new items better. You already saw all this stuff. Let me show you my ring. Ring, belt, boots, and gloves. That is the gear. Moving over to the character sheet, and I know you just saw a lot of this. Level 97, 11 strength, 11 intelligence, 11 attunement. Make sure these are matching. Movement speed 34%. Our resistances are just amazing. Really, really good. Block chance, block effectiveness, amazing. Armor is solid. And then if you come down here, our spell crit chance is 20%. This is going to be boosted a lot higher because of the base 8% we have inside of the Smite tree. Crit strike multiplier 274. And again, lightning damage. When we have our sigils up, when we have our holy aura activated, and we are using water sphere against a boss, it'll be 4 digits over 1000%. Other defenses, endurance thresholds at 60, endurance percents at 60, endurance threshold 447, and crit avoidance is 53. These are the 2 numbers I want to work on right now. And also remember that inside of our tree, we have 8 points into battle hardened. My next 2 levels, I'm going to max this out, and we're going to get a huge boost to our physical resistance, the one not maxed, and our armor when we actually take damage. So just keep that in mind. It's not shown here. And of course, when you activate Holy Aura, everything also boosts up as well. That is the character stats. Now let's talk sustain. Aaron, this is great. How do I stay alive in Endgame? Good question. Now, when I have a new player come to me and say, hey, I'm just starting last Epoch, what's a good mastery I should select? I almost always say Paladin, unless the person hates Sword and Board, because it is so tanky. So Holy Aura just by itself is going to give you endurance and resistances and cleanse ailments. So Holy Aura is going to be awesome for you. Lunge is going to give you 40% of your missing health back every time you lunge, and you're going to have 2 charges. Sigils of Hope is going to give you endurance threshold per active sigil, and you are going to have faith, which is like a backup plan. On top of that, you've got Volatile Reversal, where if you take a big hit, you can reverse time and actually get your life back. So just from the skills, you are going to have a ton of sustain, but of course it gets better because in the base tree for Sentinel, you have damage reduction right here on armor clad. And then inside of Paladin, you get block chance, you get block effectiveness, and you get armor with a shield. On top of that, you are going to get health regen and a lot of overall life. But if you want to take it one step further, because remember, you are a smiter, you are casting spells, you can go into your blessings to the black sun right here and actually get the blessing that gives you life leech on spell hit. Right now, I am spec'd into critical strike multiplier for more damage, but you can get the blessing that gives you life leech. So when you look at your character stats, it is so easy to max endurance. It's so easy to max your resistances, and you have a bunch of armor, and you have a bunch of block chance, and you have a bunch of block effectiveness. Very, very tanky. Last but not least, let's talk leveling. Aaron, this is great. How do I get it from level 1 to end game? Another good question. There's really only 2 skills you need. Well, I guess I should say 1 skill, but I'm going to give you 3. The first we're going to look at is Rive, which is one of my favorite skills in the game and the next build guide I'm going to be working on. Now, there's one specific node you want for Rive, and you go right down here and put it on Focus Strike. Focus Strike makes it where every 3rd swing, it is a guaranteed crit. And then if you come up and go right here and grab Croupe de Grace, this is going to give you a 15% kill threshold on that 3rd strike. So you're getting a guaranteed crit and you're getting a kill threshold all with Rive. And yes, it costs no mana. Second skill you want is Shield Rush. Now, why is Shield Rush so good? It is one of the best and fastest movement skills in the game, and it's channeled. You could literally cross the entire map with it. And normally on here, you want to take some mana efficiency so you don't eat up all of your mana. But since Rive does not cost anything, you are normally fine. And if you end up using a skill or using a weapon that is two-handed and you don't use a shield, you can come down here and take Dark Rush, where it doesn't even require a shield for you to use Shield Rush, which is pretty crazy. Third skill you want is, by the time you have those 2 spec'd, the 3rd one you want is Holy Aura. And if you're having no problem with survivability, you can come right here and grab physical damage and attack speed. But if you're struggling with survivability, you can take elemental resistances. Legitimately, Rive, Shield Rush, and Holy Aura, just those 3 skills alone will get you to end game. You just got to have the right gear. All right, everyone, that's the build guide. What do you think of my 6th iteration of my Holy Smiter? Is there something I missed? Is there something I need to do to take this to the next level? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. 2 asks at the end of the video. Ask number 1, hoping today is the day I have earned your subscription. I'm hoping today is the day you make the decision to push that little red button. I would really appreciate it, but of course, only if you think I have earned it. Ask number 2, check out my Patreon. I get asked all the time, Aaron, what is the best way to support? And Patreon is it. Not only does it support me, but it gives you the most benefits, like the VIP lounge and the Discord, access to the bonus hour of the podcast, access to live stream audio and video with me. You get all the posts on Patreon, like my studio tour. It's the best way. First link in the description. That's all I've got. You are all awesome. I hope you're having fun with last Epoch. Hopefully you were entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.